this will be my end of the year book haul. Now for today's video, I thought that I would do a book haul because a lot of packages recently came to my house. The reason for it is because Indigo, which is Canada's largest bookstore essentially, had a spend more, buy more, save more event where basically if you spend over a certain number of dollars, you get a certain percentage off. So if you spend like $150, you get 35% off, depending if you have their Plum Rewards membership. This is not a sponsored video. I am not sponsored by Chapters Indigo, but I am not saying that I don't want to be sponsored in the future. So hit me up, Chapters Indigo, if you are looking for a sponsorship. But basically, I bought a lot of books, and recently what I've noticed is that I have a lot of books. It took a long time for me to realize this, but it also took a long time for me to process that books are generally not really good for resale value. People tend to buy books at full price for the new condition, and as soon as you buy the book and it lands on your doorstep, basically the price and the resale value of the book immediately depreciates by a lot. So I'm trying to not spend as much money on books, and especially random titles that from authors I've never heard before, in the near future and in 2023, just because I just don't have room for it, and I feel like I could use my money towards something else that also makes me happy as well. But now that that's out of the way, let's just start unboxing. Okay, so the first package that I have here is a Thick Boy, and I'm excited to know what it is. I kind of remember what I ordered, but I also don't know what is in which package because I ordered so many different orders. Okay, so the first book that I have here is this beautiful book called The Long Way Home, Magnolia Parks by Jessica Hastings. And now I have the first book in this series. I don't know what's it called. I think it's called Magnolia Parks. And basically everybody and everybody's mom has been talking about this book. It's an indie published romance, and I've also have to mention that I'm starting to buy more indie romance simply because I read them, I like them, I want to keep them, and I'm having a really good time reading some indie romances. So you're going to see a lot of the books that I have read before via Kindle Unlimited, and then I'm just buying the physical copies of this book. So I never read this series yet, but a lot of my friends like Jessica and Tori love this series, and they were rereading the book. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give it a try and see how good it is. Although I'm a little bit nervous because everybody's been saying that this series is very angsty, and I don't do well with angst. So the next book is this glossy cover called Broken Bonds by Jay Bree. Now, I was talking to Lacey, and basically Lacey told me that she loved this series. This is a reverse harem series, and essentially she also mentioned there might be some bullying elements to it because she ran away from her friends, and then now her friends are angry at her that she left them. So it's going to be a little bit messy. I think it's gonna be angsty, and as you can tell from just this cover, this is a fantasy paranormal romance. Me and Lacey tend to have similar feelings towards fantasy romances, so I trust her opinion for Broken Bonds. I asked her if I should buy the whole 6-book series, and she just told me just to buy one, just in case I don't like this one. Okay, so the next book I picked up is this one from Tessa Bailey. This one's called Happenstance, and this one is a RH romance too as well. So as you can tell from the cover, we have one female heroine and we have 3 male heroes. Now, I love Tessa Bailey. I've heard opinions about this book already. They said that it was definitely something, they weren't really expecting it. So I want to see how wild Tessa Bailey gets with 3 male heroes, because we all know how wild she is with just one hero. I didn't really hear any reviews of this book yet, whether good or bad. I like that I don't know so far. I don't want anybody to kind of make me biased in one certain way, so happy to jump into it very soon. It's a thin book. I could probably read it very quickly. So another book that was heavily influenced to me by Lacey, by Jessica, by Tori is this one called What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. This is an author that they love and I've never read before, and I trust their opinion, but I'm just worried because me and indie romance sometimes don't really go too well. So this one was a little bit iffy for me because it was a forbidden romance. It was a second chance romance. It's taboo. It's every element that you can find under the sun. So I'm excited to read it. Everybody's giving it 4 or 5 out of 5 stars. So I know that it's probably going to be one of those reads that suck me in. Excited to tell you guys about my thoughts on this one very soon. And then just for unboxing purposes, I'll show you me taking this out of the box. But essentially the fantasy romance I have is this one called Queen of Myth and Monsters. This is the Indigo exclusive version, so it's black, it's gold, it's beautiful. It's by Scarlett St. Clair, and this is book number 2 in her series, and I've never read book number 1 yet, but book number 1 sounds really good. If I remember correctly, this is like a paranormal vampire romance, and I am on a fantasy kick, but like not right now. Like I enjoy fantasy romance this year, but it's just that I'm reading contemporary romances and short and fluffy stories until the end of New Year. I'm excited to pick this one in the next year though. So it's not just all books that I bought for myself. Publishers were also so kind to send me some PR boxes as well, and I just wanted to show you how beautiful this PR box was, because usually like they like put so many freaking like labels and custom form things covering the box. So this one was a stellar box. This one is for the book called Saint, and it's by Adrienne Young. Now I've never read the first or like the 2 books in this duology series, so I'm gonna have to probably read those in order to really enjoy this one. But then also at the same time, Saint is a prequel to those 2 books, so maybe I'll read this and then like I'll just like really enjoy it, and then I need to get book number 2 and 1. So this is like the fan art that they gave me. It looks really cute, it looks really nice. I was going to actually buy like the first 2 books in the duology from the Chapters Indigo sale, but then I was like telling to myself, like maybe you should just like try to read it first before you start committing yourself to like a whole series, and then you don't know what to do with the books afterwards when you don't like them. So the next book that I have is this one called Well Traveled by Jen DeLuca. I freaking love Jen DeLuca. I feel like her stories are just like the right balance of romantic and comedy, and it's always like has to deal with like a little bit more substance to it too as well. I love like this series that's set in this Renaissance fair where we're meeting different couples falling in love at this Renaissance fair that gets thrown every single year in the small town, and our heroine is like a lawyer, and it's like an opposites attract romance because our hero is a musician and he's very like free with his life. He's non-committal, like he doesn't want to commit to anything, but then obviously they fall in love. So I'm excited to pick this book up. I really want to finish this book by the end of the year so that it can make like my best books of like 2022, but then I'm also like okay with waiting until next year to read it, because then I'll start my new year strong. I just know that this book is going to be at least a minimum like 4 stars above, or 5 out of 5 stars, but I really hope that I'm not jinxing myself and that this book is actually that living up to that hype that I'm giving it. So another package, here we go. Okay, doesn't want to rip. So I decided to pick up this like YA Christmas romance called Talk Santa to Me by Linda Urban, and I am kind of done and over with my Christmas holiday reading. I read a lot already, and if you guys haven't checked out my videos, definitely go check it out because I read so many holiday romances. But I'm so excited to pick this up because this book was cheap. It was already like $10, and then I had another like 30% off, so it became like $7. So I can't turn down a steal, and this book is so cute. So basically, I think it's an opposites attract romance. It's an enemies to lovers romance too as well, and then they're both like centered around working at our heroine's holiday shop, and then they're like rivals. So I think this one's going to be really cute. This one is like a wider box, so I don't know what could possibly be in it. Sometimes they like pack like 2 books side by side with each other. So okay, so it's actually a book that I'm really excited to read. It's this one called The Man I Never Met by Elle Cook, and I saw this cover on Goodreads and I was like, this is like the cutest cover ever. Like, I just love the graphic design of this one. So basically this is about a heroine picking up a call from an unknown number, and then she connects with our hero, and she thinks that like she'll never like talk to him again. But then afterwards, this guy who misdialed her phone number continues the conversation through text and keeps up with her on his life and new developments. And then they try to like meet each other because like they're falling in love with each other. But then I think it's one of those books where basically it gets really frustrating because there's so many circumstances that keep pulling them apart, but they're perfect for each other, and then they just never meet. Like, not many people are talking about this book. It's an underhyped book. I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna tell you guys if you guys need to add it to your TBR. Okay, so keeping up with the holiday theme, I picked up this book called Reasonable Adults by Robin LaFleur, and I saw Goodreads ratings on this book and it was pretty good. So I'm excited, and then I don't know if you guys can tell, but like, look how shiny this book is. It's freaking gorgeous. Okay, anyways, so this is like described to be as part self-discovery, part rom-com, and part comedy of errors. So I'm expecting it to be like leaning towards women's fiction, but then it also has a cute romance too as well, because our heroine basically decides to take up on a job to work at a luxury resort, and then she thinks that it's going to be like a really easy job for the winter season, but then it turns out to be like really difficult and really hard because her boss is like a monster, and like her targets that she needs to meet for the job too are very impossible, and then everything like kind of just explodes in her face. And then it also doesn't make it like easier the fact that like the other person that she has to work with is someone that hates her, who just so happens to be our hero. So I'm excited to read this book. I think this was going to be a perfect winter read for like early 2023. Okay, so we're moving on to The Big Boy. The Big Boy is big. So the box is small, but it's very densely packed. And I know exactly what I ordered in this, kind of, sort of, not really. It's all the books that I've read through Kindle Unlimited that I really enjoyed. It's indie published, but the problem is that the books regularly sell for like $20 a piece. And if you guys are from Canada, you guys would know that indie romance books are not really accessible to us. Like, Amazon printers are really expensive. They print indie romances that are going to be like $25 and upwards of $20. It's going to be unavailable for a period of time because there are no printers that want to print the indie romances that just released. So you're going to have to wait a bit in order to like assess more copies of the book. And if you buy from like Book Depository, like they're still going to charge you like an obscene amount of money because they convert all the prices into Canadian dollars. It's just not fun. So I was really excited to see that Chapters Indigo is starting to sell more indie romances. It's not like the best selection still, but like, you know, they're trying to get into that Amazon indie publishing game, and that's really nice to hear. And I was able to pick up a lot of my books that I've read that I really enjoyed this year in indie published romances. Like, I've been able to pick up many indie romances in this book haul for very cheap, like cheap as in I'm saying like under $15. And you guys are probably going like, that's like the normal price for like indie romance books. But listen, Canada is different, y'all. Canada is like another thing. Like, it costs us money to breathe. But anyways, I'm really excited to show you guys these books. Basically, I'm already picking out the books that I know what I wanted to talk about first, and then the other books that I'm gonna have to like look at later to talk to you guys more about. But the first book that I want to show is this gorgeous book called 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. I did not expect this book to be this big. What the heck? Like, this is like a very big book. Compared to like a normal average size indie, this is like this is like a wide book. I don't know how this is gonna fit on my shelves, but essentially I read this book on vacation. It gives me good memories, and it's a funny romance between our heroine who wants to get revenge on her nasty ex by going on dates with his boss, and then her like falling in love with the boss by accident. And then it's centered around Christmas time because she wants to kind of upstage her ex at the holiday Christmas party. And it was like a really fun romance because our hero is so perfect. He's the ultimate book boyfriend and he makes me smile. All right, so you guys already saw it, but I picked up this one called All Downhill With You by Julie Olivia. Now this one is an enemies to lovers romance centered around our heroine who works at an amusement park ride, and then she like got injured many times on the roller coaster. She's trying to sue our hero because our hero is the roller coaster engineer, and our hero is like, you're just trying to get money. And she's like, no, I'm like literally injured and you guys did this to me. And then he's like, no, like I'm safe. Like, why would my roller coaster hurt you? And it's like this whole predicament. They have to work together to save the amusement park that she works at because she still loves amusement parks even though she got injured in one, and her life basically changed as a result. So I really like this book. I'm really happy that I have it, and I can't wait to read book number 3 that is coming out in 2023. All right, so this year I read Lucy Score. I really like Lucy Score's books, and I wanted to pick up some Lucy Score books during this sale because Lucy Score books are expensive too. Like, I think like they're $20 or maybe like $22 on Amazon, which is normal prices for us, but it's expensive because like at Indigo with my membership I could at least like get 10% off, but then Amazon doesn't have those memberships, so then I don't get 10% off and I'm just paying full price and it's just expensive. And I was going to buy more Lucy Score books because I just know like I was gonna like Lucy Score, but like I didn't want to buy too many because it's expensive anyways, regardless of the discount that I got. So I just picked up one. This one's called Forever Never, and it's an opposites attract romance. So basically, our heroine is free-spirited, and then our hero is the complete opposite of her. She has to return back to the small town, and then she sees our hero, who used to be her crush, who broke her heart when she was a child. Okay, so the next book that I picked up is I Can Fix That by Juliana Smith, and I love this book. It definitely had a little bit of issues in it that I didn't really agree with, but overall really liked it, still really enjoyed it, still would recommend it. It essentially follows an opposites attract romance. It's a grumpy sunshine trope as well. Our hero is the grump and then our heroine is the sunshine. She is an early educator. I believe she teaches kindergarten kids or she teaches grade 1. But essentially, she loves helping people and being nice and being kind, but then she meets our hero and she thinks that he's really attractive, but then he is like, I don't want to talk to you at all. So she just thinks that he hates her. They have to work together because she has like this whole house that he needs to fix, and then they are forced to be hanging out with each other a lot. And then when she realizes that maybe he's not grumpy all the time and that he's just trying to protect himself from something. Anyways, it was a good book. It was a short read. You will enjoy it. All right, the next book that I picked up is book number 2 in the Honeywood Fun Park series by Julia Olivia. This one's called The Fiction Between Us. This one is actually my favorite out of the 2 books that I have read from Julia Olivia. This one is a grumpy sunshine trope again, but it's like the opposite. So our heroine is the grumpy person and then our hero is a golden retriever. They both have to fake date in the amusement park because like of this incident that happened, and then everybody fell in love with the idea of them being a couple. So then in order to save the amusement park, they have to pretend to date. But then what the audience doesn't know is that they both secretly had feelings for each other the entire like time that they hung out in their childhood days. But then like something happened and it made our heroine really hate him, and our hero never knew the reason why. It was a very good romance. I really enjoyed it. I really like seeing our heroine just kind of like melt and become a nicer person. All right, so the next book that I have here is called Look the Part by Joel E. Ann. And then I think this book was recommended to me by Jessica in one of her videos, and I've always just had it on my radar, but I just never looked into reading it. But I want to read it because this is like an enemies to lovers romance, and our hero is a super rich man, and it's been a long time since I read a billionaire romance. But it also has our heroine who works for him. She is the nanny to his kid, and she is like everything that he isn't. He finds her really extremely frustrating and annoying sometimes, but she is perfect for his autistic son. Okay, so the next book that I have is this one called Whatcha Gonna Do by Avery Flynn. I like Avery Flynn. I read some books by her when she wrote for Entangled Romance, and I enjoyed them. This one is from Avon Romance. No, this one's from Berkeley Romance, and this one is obviously like a fall witchy read. Now I'm scared because like this rating on Goodreads is not good. Like I've never seen something so low. It's like low 3s. What? When I saw that it was low 3s, I was like, I really hope I never ordered that book. And I did, and it came. So now I will read this book, and hopefully I can take the ratings from Goodreads with a grain of salt. Maybe I'll enjoy it, and then I'll tell you guys all about it. But if I hate it, darn. Okay, so the last thing that I have to show you is this like big box that you guys can see here. It has nothing on it. When it came on a Saturday, I was like, what package is so important that it needs to be delivered on Saturday? So I was like, oh, maybe it's my company stuff, because this is like kind of like my company's brand's colors. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense, because I would usually receive an email telling me like, hey, you know, something's gonna come in the mail, watch out for it. So I didn't know what it was, and then I saw it was from Macmillan, or Macmillan, and now I'm excited because I know it's going to be a box full of goodies. Oh my god. And it's a box full of goodies. So first thing we have a pouch called Fierce Reads. Adorable. What am I going to use this pouch for? Probably like makeup stuff. It's gorgeous. The first book that I have that I got is this one called Demon in the Wood by Leigh Bardugo and Danny Pendergast. And I think This is a graphic novel, fantasy, and it's gorgeous. It looks so pretty. Oh my god. I never read a Leigh Bardugo book before, and I'm so excited to like pick this one up because I feel like this is just like an easy like way into Leigh Bardugo's reading. Got this card and it basically says, "Happy holidays, book lovers. We hope your holiday season is full of friends, family, food, and free time for reading the books we've sent you. Team Fierce Reads." I've never received a package from Fierce Reads before, so this is like a huge surprise. I'm very happy that they thought about me. And then I got the second book in the series from Marissa Meyer, and this one's called Cursed. It's so beautiful. What the heck? I don't have Gilded yet, but maybe I'll buy Gilded so that I can read this book. And I've heard really great things about Marissa Meyer, so I think this like will fit into the theme of next year when I'm trying to read a little bit more fantasy. So excited for this book. Last but not least is this gorgeous book called Meridian: The Beginnings of the Remnant Universe, and it's by Mary E. Pearson. Oh, she wrote like this series. I don't know if you guys can see. She wrote the series The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and The Beauty of Darkness, Dance of Thieves, and Vow of Thieves. Now, I've read The Kiss of Deception. I actually like got around like 75% of that book before like I took a break, but I enjoyed her writing. So I'm excited to read this book. It's pretty, it's gorgeous. Wow, thank you so much Fierce Reads for sending me this book box. But yeah, that is it for all the books that I wanted to show you for this year. Thank you so much for supporting my channel this year. Thank you so much for everybody who has returned back to watch my videos. Thank you so much for people who have been very patient with me with my uploads and things like that. You guys are amazing. You guys are the best. I love you guys. It only goes up from here. Or it goes downhill. We don't know. We'll see in 2023. Keep subscribing to see if I go downhill and I start spiraling and have mental breakdowns. I'll see you guys again next time.